Wow. This is like brave for me. Big time. Oh, we are officially live. All right, let's see what happens here. I brought a crystal. Well, it's a rock. I mean, it actually is a rock. It's a pretty rock. It's one of my favorite rocks. I kind of have a thing for heart-shaped rocks. So if we keep doing this, you're going to see that I have a lot of heart-shaped rocks. I mean, like a lot of heart-shaped rocks. A ton. It's one of those weird things that people buy me crystals and are like, oh, I found you a heart-shaped one. Aw, thank you. Because, love in the heart-shaped rocks. So, what are we doing tonight? Well, one of the things that we're doing is, people know that we do the tea parties. They know we do the fairs. They know we do the tea parlor Tuesday. Leanne has her Astrocast on Sundays. We don't do a whole lot anything more than that. And, we're witches, right? So we need to, I guess, fix that. Part of fixing that is talking about stuff like this, rocks. And got the name for it because we did that Halloween. We did the Halloween psychic soiree at Jones Attic back on November 2nd. And Carol Kincaid did her, I want to do the energy of rocks. And I'm like, oh, cool, like rocks. She was like, no, honey, these. Well, I thought we were just going to go, grab a bunch of rocks off the ground and you were going to tell us about them. Well, no, it didn't work that way. Hey, Christy. So she brought out all of her crystals, which she calls rocks. I mean, she's an old hippie, so, of course, it's always going to be rocks for her no matter what, which, by the way, Carol Kincaid, love you, miss you, hope everything's going okay, haven't heard from you in, forever, and I miss you like crazy, because I know you had a birthday and didn't hear much from you there, so, lots of love to you, Carol Kincaid. All right, so let's talk about this little beauty. Let me get it up closer, because it's not about me, it's about the rock. Woo! So this is K2. It's actually one of my favorites. I have quite a few favorites, but this is definitely up there. Hopefully you can see the coloring in this. So one of the things you've got with K2 is you've got this creamy little white color in here, which is gorgeous. And then you've got these blue dots, and then this freckles in here, that's actually green. So what happens when you put all this together? So the white, hey Brad, is granite. And you know how they say about granite, they say, granite's tougher than anything out there. So you have the granite. And in the granite, you have malachite and azurite. Hi, Sarah. Sarah's here. By the way, if you guys are all heading up to Ludington or in that area, Sarah has her own little shop there. Sarah loves my stone too. So, hey, Lori. Hey, Krista. So, yes, make sure that you stop into Four Winds Alchemy and see our beautiful friend Sarah's shop if you're up there. So, anyway, back to this. So, let's talk about the first element here, the granite. So, granite is kind of like the helping hand in the K2. You've got this kind of like magical ladder or rope. So when you're about to go over the edge, granite's kind of like the guardian says, whoa, 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 hold on, get back here. And I think that's why people have granite in their houses, because it's very much of a grounding influence, but it's also like a protector. And it's really good at being that kind of watch over, protector, keep all the crap out of your life. And if you know anybody in the military or who's in armed forces or who does police, fire, EMS, EMTs, all of those, this is granite is a really, really good stone to give them as a protector. Whether you wire wrap some granite or something like that on there. If you find a chunk of granite, like Home Depot, and they have their granite countertops and a chunk is falling off or something, do grab a piece and see if you can find someone to wire wrap it and have them wear it, because it is a really good protection for them. Granite is amazing for that. It's actually the guardian of those people that are our first responders. So granite, good stuff. So let me get this back up here so y'all can see it. Hey everybody that just joined us. So granite gets you into the right frame of mind. And that's why a lot of people will also, it's one of those, like, you know how you go in, you can't think for nothing. Then you walk into the kitchen and it's like, oh, that's what I wanted to do. That's granite. That's what granite does. So, you're all scatterbrained and your brain's like, woo, all over the place. Next thing you know, you walk in the kitchen, touch your countertop. I know what I was doing now. Granite. Seriously. No one probably knows that, but that's what granite does. All right, so get this back up here again. There. My little heart rock. Again, I love heart rocks. I have a ton of heart crystals, so you'll see a ton of them on here. So, talked about the granite on here. The other part about the granite is it's kind of like a grandparent. If you think of like granite, like grandparent. So granite is going to give you that loving hand, but also keep you from doing stupid shit. It's the other part of it. It's like, you want to act better around your grandparents than you do around your parents. That's what granite does. Now, the other element that we have in here is this blue. All of these little blue dots, which looks like somebody just went marker happy. Nope. That is a huge element of K2. Let's see if we can get this a little bit better in frame. There we go. So you have, I'll get it out of my light here. Sorry, fluorescent ugly lights, y'all. All right. So these blue dots here. I love these blue dots. I love the little blue dots. Blue dots are azurite. And azurite is absolutely fantastic. It's a coppery material, so it's a mineral. And with like copper, really good conductor of energy. Copper is really good at letting stuff pass through. It's kind of like that filter thing. Hey, Christina. Oh, my boss, and she doesn't have the egg, but she has a pyramid in her office, and it's like 6 times the size of this. I'm so jealous. I walk in there and I'm like, I want to smell your rock. And she doesn't let me smell the rock. That's the other thing is people don't take me to rock shows because I have to lick everything. And some people don't mind. Jack didn't mind. Jack was perfectly okay with me licking rocks. It was the shop people at the Flint Rock and Gem Show that had a problem with me licking rocks. So I had to buy everything I licked, which wasn't bad because there was a Himalayan like soapstone, and that was pretty good. All right, so back to these little blue dots that we got here. Of course, the blue activates that throat chakra area so that you can speak your truth, so that you can have clear communication. It actually gets some of that Mercury energy in there, but not like the weird communication. See, lots of people have heart rocks. What is it with us liking the heart rocks? I don't know, but once you guys see my selenite, you'll like flip if you haven't seen it already. My selenite's like as big as my hand, but I love it. So we've covered the little blue dots in here. There's not really any rhyme or reason to like how many blue dots it has or how much azurite in there, because despite the fact that you see all the big ones, even though there's all these big ones that look more pronounced, inside of here there's a ton of little blue dots too. But the even littler on here, little freckles, that's malachite. I love malachite. Malachite, I had a little malachite head that sat on my desk when I worked at Comcast, and I used that to keep my boss from messing with me there, and it actually worked because he would walk by, I think it was the skull thing, because you walk by and see a skull on somebody's desk, next thing you know, it's like, I think I'm leaving that person alone, and that kind of worked. So, but malachite is, like, of course, heart chakra, because it's the green. The other really great part about malachite is it's the great transformer. So it opens you up to the possibilities. So if you're having a hard time manifesting, or you're having a hard time even, getting to that manifesting energy, it's like, well, I don't know what to think about what I want. What malachite does, malachite completely opens the door, says, look, the world is your oyster. There are so many possibilities out there. And it gives you the energy to transform those opportunities and those possibilities into something. It also kind of, because of that heart chakra stuff, it gives you that loving touch. So it's like, that gentle little nudge that you need sometimes to put you out there. And the bravery, it's, like that cowardly lion when he finally got his courage. It's like, I can do this. Really, I can do this. Because believe me, I don't like doing live videos. I love being behind the scenes. I love talking to everybody, you know, writing and everything. It's always been my thing. I like being behind the camera and making everybody else look good, but I don't like being in front of the camera. That's why I'm like, woohoo, here, look at the crystal. It's pretty. See? Yeah, I would rather be off camera so much. But one of my goals that I gave myself for 2020 is that I have to be more present. And more present means like this and not continuing behind the scenes. So you will see a lot more of me. I may not like it, and I may get really anxious, anxiety, like please don't make me, but I still have to. All right, so more about this little beauty here. K2, the whole stone all together. So you've got like the throat chakra, you've got that heart chakra, so you move it on up. Bam! What do you got here? Put all of them together. You are activating that third eye with this stuff. Doing! Let's put it right there. See what happens. Hey, Lucy. Hey, Jennifer, if I didn't say hi to you. So, yeah. Doing! Right here. There. I don't have any Scotch tape or else I would put it right there. Like, seriously. So, now we've got that third eye activated. It gives you that big, huge kick with that third eye. It is a really good stone for shamanic practitioners because it actually helps with soul retrieval. I have not used this yet on my own for soul retrieval, but I do know, well, actually, yeah, I kind of have, because it sits right by my bed. And when I've done a couple of like little journeys on my own and brought back a few things, done a couple of soul retrievals and brought back some little glittery pieces. So yes, it actually does help with that because I had it right by my bed. I just forgot that I had it right there. It's really good for anybody that does any kind of energetic healing, especially like Reiki, or if you're doing like energy touch, like my friend Jessica does. She's energy touch therapy and does some really, really good energy work. Our friend Clancy, who was at one of our fairs over the summer, Clancy uses this and it works really good for him too. Ooh, now my third eye is like buzzing. All right, so if you want to start feeling a really good buzz, you just like tape this here for a little bit, and next thing you know, it's like, ooh, fuzzy and itchy. Yeah, okay, we're not going to do that again. All right, so this stone works at being a nice little helper. It's very, very good little helper. If you're working with Akashic Records and you are wanting to open up and start to retrieve some of those past records, this is also the stone to go for. Definitely one if you're trying to like clear some Akashic or maybe some karmic stuff going on. You got to figure out what it is first. And you are not going to be able to figure out what it is until you have like, you know, a little helper, because that's like hidden records. It's stuff that we're not really supposed to see, but some people have a really good way of going into those records and pulling them back out. Boom! This is a good little helper there. I want to see how close I can get it without it obstructing the stone. Ooh. You guys have seen the front a lot. The front's more interesting than the back of it. It's just, I don't know. You can't tell the malachite in it as much, but like I said, the malachite's and the freckles. And you can sit there and stare at the freckles all day long. I've never seen your K2, Lisa, so you'll have to send me a picture. That'd be awesome. So another thing that K2 is really good at is, this is good for people that get those like third eye headaches. Like I just said a few minutes ago that it kind of made my third eye buzz. I've had a headache all day. I've had a really, really weird headache, which is like, you know, whenever I get headaches, the bags under my eyes get worse. And that's kind of what's been going on. So this will help people to get those psychic headaches. So if you are somebody that gets a lot of headaches, even, you know, throwing this on for a few minutes or even holding it might actually help pull some of that out. Because like I said, you got the granite in here. Granite's, you know, an earth stone. So granite kind of just yanks all that stuff out. It's the granddaddy. So, you know, you're not feeling good. You want to go to grandma. You want to go to grandpa. Bam. This is what we got right here. So I'll show you the top of this here a little bit. Got some little brown flecks in there too, which is kind of weird, but all right. Appreciate you guys still hanging on with me there. So K2 is also really good if you are trying to embrace your psychic abilities. If you've, shut them down, or maybe you don't trust your psychic abilities as much, K2 is a really good one for that too, because it just kind of gives you that gentle little nudge. It helps with better memory recollection. So if you are one of those, like, as soon as you wake up, you forget your dreams, your K2 can kind of help store those and remember those for you. So throwing it under your pillow might be a really good thing to do. So definitely consider that one there. So throwing it like inside your pillowcase, that might help there too. K2 is good for indigo children and indigo people. So those old souls that kind of need to help reacclimate into this new life that they've come into. Yes, it's definitely a good one there. It's a high vibration stone. So, like I said, putting it right there on your forehead, messing with it's definitely a good thing to do and see what happens. I definitely had a nice little buzz there. That was interesting. I haven't felt like that in a while. I think there's only been one other stone that's done the little buzzy fuzzy feeling, and that was my labradorite that I got in Chicago. So the ultimate thing about K2, like the best possible thing that it can do, is it clears out blockages. So that may have been why the little buzzy fuzzy feeling right there is there's a little block going on right now. So we're all Sesame Street fans, right? So you know how Grover used to do the over, under, around, and through? Bam. This is your Grover. This is telling you, that one way or another, you're going to have to get through it. Whether you go over it, whether you go under it, whether you go around it, whether you go through it, one way or the other, you have to deal with it. And K2 kind of helps you and gives you the assistive devices that you need to get through it and to deal with it. That's why we love this little thing here. There's so much that K2 can do for you. It's one of those multi-purpose stones. Now, I got this one at the Rock and Gem show that happens in October for the Flint Rock and Gem Club. There's a seller there that has this, and he carves it into all these really cool things. He's really, really cool. There's a few places that you can get this, and like other stores that might have it. I would probably stay away from getting it on eBay, just because one thing I have a, I thought it was Criscola. I really, really thought it was Criscola. It's not. It is painted little white beads that look like it, that are little plastic beads, but it chips off. So I'll show you that. That'll be one we talk about next time, is what, to be careful about what you buy and who you buy it from, because the last thing you really want to do is sit there and have to go smashing your stones to see if they're actually real. And that does happen a lot. A lot of when you're buying stuff off eBay, there's not really a whole lot of accountability. So, and if you don't really know what you're buying, you don't know how a stone feels, you're gonna end up getting hosed a lot. Believe me, I've been hosed a lot. My Rudrushka beads, I actually went through a couple of days before I actually found the right one, because I had one, and next thing you know, pieces started chipping off. Well, they do this thing where they make fake Rudrushka beads, and they have like this like plastic bead or this little clay bead, and then they like mold little itty bitty bits of clay all over it to make it look like it's a seed, but it's not. So you got to be careful about who you're buying stuff from. It can be a nightmare sometimes. Back to this little beautiful baby here. Isn't he pretty? Let's see. There we go. That's better. Aw, you have hearts and nuggets. I think the heart thing is just a lot of people go for the hearts. I'm just kind of struck with them. I can't help it. All right. So, like we were just talking about, going over, under, around, and through. K2 will keep bringing the stuff back to you until you deal with it. So like I said, you got to figure out one way or another to go through it, or else K2's just going to keep on throwing it in your path. And each time you do, it's going to end up seeing like, really, again, are you kidding me, again? Just deal with it. You got to. K2 will help you balance yourself better. So when these retrogrades come in and we all start getting all messed up and it's like, help me, K2 can kind of help you balance and regulate your emotions. It's kind of like estrogen. You know, where it's like, okay, I need to like balance things out a little bit because I'm a little funky right now. K2. K2, 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 K2. K2 is very good for that. K2 is wonderful to help you with that. You know, we all know people that are like strong but not wise, or we have the people that are wise but not strong enough to carry out what they have to do and to utilize it properly. So K2 is one of those, it's kind of like our little owl friend. Like I said, it's got that grandfather energy to it. So that wise relative that you go and talk to for advice, boom, right here. And a rock. I feel like Charlie Brown right now. What did you get? I got a rock. You know, how many people watch Charlie Brown, his Halloween special, and Charlie Brown's like all upset that he got a rock? I wouldn't be upset if I got a rock in my bag. I love rocks. I never understood that. I know, I like the raw pieces sometimes too. Before they've been all tumbled and everything, they have that, you know, it's like, ooh, this is what you look like. And I think it's important that you get a hold of raw pieces also, as well as the polished and the tumbled pieces. Because if you're walking along, like say, my daughter and I were over at Kelly Lake and we were just going for a little walk around there, and she says, what's that down there? And I'm like, I don't know, it's a rock. No, it looks like something. And she has a really, really good eye for that. And she goes over to it. It's a piece of ametrine. So it's amethyst and citrine put together. And I don't even know how she saw it, 'cause it's not even that big of, I mean, it's like this piece. It's not even that big at all, but she picked that up from like really far away. And knowing in its rough state what it looked like kind of helped her to be able to know that kind of stuff. So raw stones, knowing what a stone looks like raw is just as important as what it looks like polished. Let's see. I just like how pretty it is. So when you have the wise and you have the strong and you put those two things together, it's kind of like, you know, being like married in a sense. It helps awaken the inner healer within you. So healer being like shaman, healer being like the, you know, the witch, and that healing properties, the healing qualities that we all have within us, the nurse that's all within us, you know, that mother energy that's all within us. This helps awaken that to you being the holy person that you are. So K2 is so vital for all of us to get a hold of. But don't, I mean, of course I can say all this stuff, but sometimes some stones don't resonate with people. You come by things when you come by them. You get a hold of things when it's your time to get a hold of them. And a lot of times, you know, if you're watching this right now, usually that's because you have come across something like this and like, well, what would it do for me? So much. Definitely so much. K2 is definitely something you should get a hold of. If you find it, if somebody you know has it, go for it. It's not usually all that expensive, which is nice. I mean, there's some out there like arfvedsonite and astrophyllite. Some of these like, you know, more weirder stones that it's like, really, could you be more expensive? They're almost as much as like my car payment, and that's ridiculous. You don't need to pay that much for crystals. Really, you don't. Look how shiny. Even in the ugly lights under here, it still looks really pretty. So, one thing where'd it go? I lost it. It's on the floor. And I guess that kind of works with my next point here. That when you start messing with a stone like this, it does awaken a lot of healing in you. And healing is messy. It's messy. It's gross. You start bringing stuff up about yourself where it's like, I really didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to know that about myself. And I didn't want to know that I was capable of that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that K2 does. That's what, you know, any kind of healing does. So you start messing with it and all of a sudden it's like, this doesn't work for me. This really, really, really does not work for me. Well, it does, because it's helping with all that shadow work, like the stuff we do on Fridays. It's bringing in all of those things that you need to heal about yourself so you can evolve. So next time when you come into this lifetime, it's not going to be as hard as what it was last time, or even this previous time. That you can help obtain, you know, and retain some of those lessons that you've learned on this one, so you don't start fresh like, woohoo, new soul. No, you've been here a few times. You just keep forgetting everything. That's one of the really good parts about K2. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Thank you so much. We've got a lot of changes happening. So one of the things that I did want to talk about is I think we're going to take a little bit of a hiatus from TeeParlor. Just for a lot of reasons. I think it might be a good idea to open up the possibilities of all the other things that we can do. So one thing we are going to be doing is starting in like April. As soon as we actually get to where, hey, yay, it's a spring, and all the stuff's in bloom, we're going to start this thing called Weedy Wednesday. And walking around the yard, or like when we go out places and identifying like the plants that we see along the way, because if you don't know what's in your yard, you don't know how to use it and don't know how to help yourself with it. And there's a ton of stuff that we all have growing in our yards that we don't even realize the healing properties that we have. And sometimes things are there because our own individual families need that, and that's why it seems to appear. If you ever notice, like, you walk through the yard and you see like plantain, and like a whole yard has nothing but plantain in it, but another yard has none at all. Well, obviously those people need that, what's in that plantain. So the same thing goes with just, anything. My yard has a ton of violets and a ton of dandelions. And I love my neighbor next door who mows my lawn for me. Brian is absolutely phenomenal, but he always knows, you ready for me to mow? Because you're a little weird. And I know you want to make sure you get all your weeds up out of your yard. Well, I appreciate that. Some of the stuff that is in there that I need. And since violets only seem to grow once a year for about 3 weeks, I need to gather all that I can. And my cats really like the taste of violets. All the violets I grabbed last year, gone. Have to wait till March. So, Weedy Wednesday is coming this spring. Leanne will do her usual stuff on Sundays because we love Leanne's Astrocast. We're going to do like a feature on Thursdays, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm not really ready to launch it just yet because, like I said, this was a big thing for me, just trying to do this. So trying to get a little more comfortable with being around and doing the things that we need to do. We've got some festivals and some fairs coming up, and something in the works possibly next weekend. That's kind of like an impromptu thing that somebody messaged me about and was interested. So that could possibly be happening next weekend. We'll find out more within the next couple of days and let y'all know when that happens. In the meantime, you guys have a great night and enjoy the stones and the rocks that you've got. Keep on rocking.